It's Friday night. Say yeah for it's another edition of Strictly Sports. Hello, friends. Anthony Floyer here, as always. Nice to have you with us. Joined by Michael Bullock here. Unfortunately, Good LMF Michael Fletcher will not be joining us this evening due to work commitments beyond his control. He will, however, be back with us Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, so that's good news. All right, so another week here, and we got this show tonight. If I could sum it up, I can only sum it up in two words, and that is hot stove. Because a lot of this stuff tonight has to do with hot stove, transactions. I mean, we're going to be talking about extensions, retirements, trades, the whole nine yards. So with all that being said, let's dive on in. We have we have two stories from the NFL, two stories from the NBA, one story from Major League Baseball, and of course, at the end will be our Major League Baseball power rankings. And since Bullock and I are running the show tonight, I'll take the power rankings. I already took care of them; they're all set, so I'm ready to go on that. So with all that being said, let's dive on into our first story of the week, which is in the NFL, and it has to do with Brandin Cooks. And Brandin Cooks, as you all know, during the offseason was traded to the Los Angeles Rams. And, well, 10 days ago, he signed an extension. So here's the scoop. After acquiring Brandin Cooks in a trade with the New England Patriots in the offseason, the LA Rams plan to extend the receiver's contract before training camp, and they established that goal on July 17th. The team announced it signed Brandin Cooks to a 5-year extension that runs to the 2023 season. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported the deal is worth $81 million per source informed of the situation. That includes $20.5 million fully guaranteed at signing and $50.5 million in total guarantees. And Sean McVay, the head coach of the Rams, in a statement said Brandin Cooks has shown himself to be a class act on and off the field since the first day he joined our team. He's a proven professional in this league, and signing him to a long-term contract was always our goal. We're excited to keep Brandin in a Rams uniform through 2023. Cooks was entering the final year of his rookie contract, slated to make $8.459 million in 2018. Terms of the extension were not disclosed, but you remember the Rams traded their first-round pick in 2018, who was number 23 overall, offensive lineman Isaiah Wynn, and a sixth-round selection, number 198 overall, traded by the Patriots to the Patriots for Brandin Cooks and a fourth-round pick. So Brandin Cooks in his career has compiled 280 receptions, 3,943 receiving yards, and 27 receiving TDs. Last year with the New England Patriots, he had 65 catches for 1,082 yards and 7 touchdowns. One of 5 NFL players with an active streak of at least 3 consecutive seasons with 1,000-plus receiving yards. Per NFL research, the others, Antonio Brown, who has 5, Mike Evans, who has 4, Julio Jones with 4, and Larry Fitzgerald with 3. Absolutely love it. This is a great move and a great decision. Brandin Cooks provides a deep threat for the Rams' multifaceted offense after the team let Sammy Watkins walk in free agency. The Rams will hope Brandin Cooks' ability to take the top off defenses can put pressure on opponents, and combining Cook's skill set with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp provides quarterback Jared Goff a wide receiver trio that can win at all levels. Since acquiring Brandin Cooks, the Rams coaching staff has been giddy about the wideout's potential in the creative McVay system. The coach could barely contain himself during offseason workouts after seeing Cooks' speed up close. For Cooks, a former first-round pick of the New Orleans Saints, this extension represents a long-awaited reward. The Patriots reportedly did not view the 5'10" speedster as a true number 1 target. The Rams coaching staff clearly has a different view. Getting Cooks' deal done now allows the Rams front office to refocus on the bevy of players they need to lock up in the near future, including Jared Goff and Todd Gurley. But next, however, I think they should turn their attention to finally paying Defensive Player of the Year Aaron Donald. That's honestly how I feel about it. So a wonderful decision by the Rams. I completely understand it. I support it and accept it. And I know my young friend from my church, Josh Avery. I know I'm sure he approves of it. Because I know for a fact he is a diehard fan of Brandon Cooks. I mean, I know he was happy that he was in New England last year. You know, he is a Patriot fan like Bullock is, and I'm sure he's happy for him. I know he's deep down he still wishes he was with the Patriots, but hey, he's with the Rams now, and I'm gonna tell you something. The Rams are gonna be a team to watch for next season. I mean, they came out of nowhere last season, and this year they're on the radar. They're one of the teams that I could honestly see representing the NFC in Super Bowl 53. So that's really all I can say on that. And Brandon Cooks, put him with Woods and Cup. I mean, that's a damn good trio. And of course, you have that defense as well. And you got Gurley and Goff. Sky's the limit for this team. And getting that Cooks extension done, like I said, well done. So really nothing more to say on this. Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts. Brandon Cooks, a brand new extension with the LA Rams, well deserved.
A well-deserved extension for him. I mean, he definitely is proving it. I mean, what he did last season, of course, over 1,000 yards with the Patriots, and of course with what he's done with during his time with the New Orleans Saints, and it's unbelievable. I mean, he hasn't played it down yet with the LA Rams, and he's getting an extension. That's how high the Rams think of him, and they want to get him locked in. And I mean, he's a deep threat that's got a lot of speed and definitely will help Jared Goff. I mean, he's got a lot of weapons around him, especially with Todd Gurley. I mean, it's been a big time for the Rams with the extensions. I mean, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks. I mean, I mean, they wanted to get this Cooks thing out of the way. I mean, now they can focus on paying some of the other guys, but I know they want to focus on Goff and some of the other key guys they want to try to get signed. But I think the main focus, and Floro, you're spot on with this. They need to pay. They need to pay the defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald. I mean, he's proven it. He deserves the money, and is one of my favorite guys on the NFL Network, Mr. Deion Sanders on Game Day Prime, as he always likes to say, "Pay the man," and they need to pay the man because I mean, right now he's basically holding out of training camp, and he plans on continuing to hold out until they pay him. So, I mean, I really hope the Rams can get that done because right now this Rams team is looking lock and loaded for this year. I mean, after a surprising season last year, and with some of the acquisitions they had in the off season, with Brandon Cooks being one of them, and getting Ndamukong Suh. I mean, this team looks like a team that could be in contention to represent the NFC in Super Bowl 53. I'm pretty sure the Eagles and all the other teams in the NFC have pretty much something to say about that. But love this signing, and yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on to the next topic.
Okay. Let me see. I'll just give me one moment here. Let me see. All right. Continuing on here, but like I said, we had another NFL story. Bullock's going to start it off. Well, from another former Patriot to another Michael Bullock. Here's a man who, was with your Patriots once upon a time, won a Super Bowl with them in that unforgettable Super Bowl 49, and that is Darrelle Revis. Revis Island he calls it a career, and just give me one moment, Bullock, before I just want to make sure I get the correct source here. Darrelle Revis retires after, here we go. The starry, wondrously unique career of Darrelle Revis has come to an end. Seven-time Pro Bowl cornerback announced his retirement on July 18th. And he said in a statement, "For the past 11 years, it has truly been an honor to showcase one of my greatest gifts to the world. Today, I am closing a chapter in my life that I once dreamed of as a kid, and I am officially retiring from the National Football League. The game of football has opened doors for me I once thought were nearly impossible to get through. My passion to play the game at an elite level brought fun and excitement to the term shutdown corner, which was nearly on the verge of extinction. Covering some of the toughest assignments in league history was a challenge every Sunday, but also an honor within this game we all love. I would like to thank my coaches, teammates, and mentors who have made a significant impact in my life and helped to create amazing memories that my family and I will cherish for a lifetime. I'm excited as to what lies ahead as I pursue new ventures in different industries. Long live Revis Island." He was the 14th overall pick of the 2007 draft. He gave the Jets 6 stellar seasons before the front office stunningly traded him away to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2013. He inked a 6-year, $96 million deal with Tampa Bay, money the Jets couldn't stomach, only to release him one off season later in a cap-saving Liverpool. Revis then broke the heart of Jets fans everywhere by latching on with the arch-rival New England Patriots in 2014 and helping New England win Super Bowl 49. And then he returned to the Jets, but it was a mixed bag, so I'll get all the numbers in just a minute. But Michael Bullock, I want to start it with you here. I want to get your thoughts on this. He played for your team. It may have been for only 1 year, but what can we say? That 1 year, in the immortal words of one of our favorites, Bobby Roode, was absolutely glorious.
Yes, it was, and Florio, I can actually pull off the numbers for you. I mean,
yeah, actually, you were gonna join him anyway. I mean, he played with the Jets, he played with the Bucks, and then the Pats, and then back to the Jets.
Yeah, I mean,
career. So
yeah, like you said, Florio, he may have played one season with the Patriots, but it was definitely one to remember for him because he finally got that Super Bowl championship he's been wanting, and yeah, I mean, what a career for Darrelle Revis. I mean, yeah, of course, he only has one Super Bowl championship. Like I said, was with the Patriots, and had one of the big plays in their playoff run, which was obviously in the AFC Championship game when he picked off Andrew Luck. I think it was pretty much it wasn't a pick six, but it was an interception nonetheless. But of course, a 7-time Pro Bowler from 2008 to 2011, and then of course 2013 to 2015, a 4-time first team All Pro. I mean, 497 career tackles, only 2 quarterback sacks, 29 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, 140 passes defended. I mean, yeah, like you said, he went to the Jets in the 2007 NFL draft, and the Jets selected him, and basically, he. Excuse me for just a minute. He spent 6 seasons with the Jets. Of course, his rookie season in 2007, and I gotta say his best season with the Jets. And I don't know how you feel about it, Florio. I'd have to say, well, when it comes to interception-wise, was 2009, and where he picked off, he had 6 interceptions, and of course under first-year coach Rex Ryan, and in back-to-back years, 2009 and 2010, he could have gotten to the Super Bowl, but of course came up on the short end both times, thanks to the Colts back in 2009, and then of course, courtesy of the Steelers in 2010. So he continued to play on, and then he would basically, in 2012 was when he suffered that gruesome injury to his knee, a torn ACL. He ends up coming back and played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2013. 2014, he ends up going to the Patriots it may have only been 1 year, but he had a good first year and helped lead to a Super Bowl championship for excuse me, for the Patriots, and then ends up going back to the Jets, and it wasn't the same. I mean, 2015 you could say he was good, but 2016 was pretty much there. Ends up going to Kansas City last year, and it just wasn't the same guy. So he decides to call it a career. I mean, he was definitely one of the best corners in the National Football League in his early years. I mean, yeah, I mean, he may not be a Hall of Famer, but he could enter the Jets Hall of Fame just for what he did during his tenure there. So, congratulations to Darrelle career. So, who knows what's next for him? Could he pursue maybe a job, maybe as an analyst for one of the major networks? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see when it comes to that. So Florio, your thoughts on the career of Darrelle Revis?
Wow. Yeah, he did have some noggin diva moments in his career, but I'll tell you what. I mean, he was one of the best to ever play his position.
Especially when he played with Rex Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, say what you want about Rex Ryan, but
because he was the absolute noggin diva. I mean, because basically keep saying, "Oh, my team, the Jets, is going to the Super Bowl." Yeah, what happened? Whatever happened to that?
Well, they got the 2 AFC Championship games in his defense, but they lost.
Oh, I know that, but he kept even the year after that. He kept saying this team was going to the Super Bowl, and
yeah, that didn't work out. That did not work out, and they're one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. But you know, we'll save that for another day. Mainly our NFL preview show next month. Holy crap! Did I just say that next month? Good lord, it's coming up fast. Anywho,
yeah, you did. Yeah, you did just say that.
Month away. Wow, that's scary. But anywho, let's see. He was selected in the first round, the 14th pick of the first round, 2007 NFL draft, out of the University of Pittsburgh. He played with the Jets from 2007 to 2012, 2013 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2014 that magical season with the New England Patriots when they won the Super Bowl 49, one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time, and then another stint with the Jets in 2015 and 16, and then played only 6 games with the Kansas City Chiefs last year, and then back to the Jets. So won a Super Bowl 49, 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team All Pro. And in his college days, he was a 2-time first team All Big East. He ended his career with 497 tackles, 2 sacks, 29 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, 140 passes defended, and three interception returns for touchdowns. In his college career, he was also named a first-team freshman All-American by the Sporting News in 2004, a second-team freshman All-American with Rivals.com, both of those in 2004. 05 and 06 was the first-team All-Big East, Rivals.com, third-team All-American in 06, a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award in 2006, and was named and won the ESPN College Football Player of the Year honor in 2006. And the rest we can say is history. I mean, yeah, like Bullock said, I mean, his greatest year interception wise was 2009. He had 6 interceptions that year, one touchdown in 2009. Holds the New York Jet franchise record for the longest interception return for a touchdown, 100 yards, against Fletcher's Miami Dolphins on October 17th of 2011, which was tied with Aaron Glenn, and 111 passes defended. So there you have it on that. And yeah, you know, that's pretty much the story there. I mean, and Revis, upon going to Tampa, said it was great. I look at it as a new chapter in my career. The organization is great. It's real laid back down there. It's not a lot of pressure as it is in New York. But that didn't work out well in Tampa. 1 year, he only had 1 sack. He had 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. Solid year, but nothing really to show for it. And he had his career high in tackles was 74 in his rookie year. Assisted on 13 in 07 and 08. 08, he had a sack, and in 2013, he had a sack with Tampa. The most passes defended was 31, the 6 picks. I mean, 2009 was pretty much his best year, although you can make an argument for 2011. He had 4 interceptions in that year, including that 100-yard touchdown run. And, yeah, so, with the Jets, 07 to 12, and then he didn't play in that many games. The first 3 years, he played every game. 2010, he missed 3 games. 2011, he played all 16. 2012, he was only in 2 games, and he had to miss the entire season. He had to miss pretty much the rest of the season after tearing his ACL in a game. I believe it was against the Dolphins. And then 2013 went to Tampa, and then he went to the Patriots, March of 2014, a 1-year, $12 million deal with the Patriots. 47 tackles, 2 picks, 14 defended passes, a forced fumble. And he had, he had a couple of interference penalties in that divisional game against Baltimore, and then he went to the Super Bowl. And he tallied a sack in that game, and also during the championship game of the Super Bowl, he allowed 1 completion on passes thrown to receivers he was covering. And then the following year, he went back to the Jets. 5 years, $70 million deal, 39 guaranteed. And yeah, so 39 tackles, 5 picks, 9 passes defended, solid year, without a doubt. He finished 24th on the top 100 players of 2016. And then 2016, pretty much his worst outing. I mean, he allowed quarterback ratings of 92 compared to 59 in previous years. 53 tackles, 5 passes defended, 1 pick. And then 2017, they announced he would be released at the start of free agency. And then November 22nd, signed a 2-year, $11 million deal with the Chiefs. But then in February, he was released by the Chiefs after only 6 games, including playoffs. And then July 18th, called it a career. So at least he got a Super Bowl. And sky's the limit for what he could do now. I mean, what could he do now? I mean, well, we'll have to wait and see on that. But like Bullock said, I mean, he could maybe he could transition into a broadcasting career. You never know. I mean, how many former players, after calling it a career, have gone to the broadcast booth or joined some show? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. I mean, I think he would be a great fit anywhere. I mean, ESPN, Fox, CBS, NFL Network. I'm sure all 4 of those networks will be vying for his expertise, without a doubt. So, but despite the Noggin Diva moments, we do want to wish Darrelle Revis the best in his future endeavors, as he now looks forward to the first day of the rest of his life, even though he's already had it. So we wish him the best in his retirement. I'm glad he won a Super Bowl. It's always good when somebody wins, when somebody calls it a career and wins the Super Bowl. So congratulations, Darrelle Revis, one of the best ever to play his position. I wish MF was here. I would have loved to have gotten his thoughts on it, but because I know he would have broken down every nook and cranny. So. All right, so we move now to the NFL, to the NBA, and a huge trade in the NBA, also on July 18th, and that was Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was traded to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for the Raptors acquire Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, and in return, the San Antonio Spurs getting DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a 2019 first-round pick. The Kawhi Leonard saga has reached its long-anticipated conclusion. Raptors traded star guard DeMar DeRozan to the San Antonio Spurs for Leonard, a former 2-time Kia Defensive Player of the Year and Finals MVP winner. Spurs veteran Danny Green is also headed to the Raptors with Leonard, while the Spurs get DeRozan, center Jacob Poeltl, and a protected first-round pick in 2019. The Spurs and Raptors both officially announced the deal on Wednesday, July 18th, just after noon. Spurs coach Greg Popovich spoke with the media later that afternoon and addressed the trade. "We wish him well as he moves into Toronto. I think he'll be great," Popovich said. "I think this trade is going to work out great for both teams. We wish Leonard well, but at this point, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Kawhi is not going to stop being a great player, but we're thrilled with DeMar. To get back a proven NBA player and a proven all-star, we have to be thrilled." As for Jalen Green, Popovich said it was hard. He's become a good player. He'll enjoy Toronto. Popovich, who also serves as coach of Team USA basketball, also said he expects Leonard to be in Las Vegas for Team USA's minicamp and that he is looking forward to coaching Leonard there. A recent ESPN report that the 7-year forward is considering participating in the minicamp next week. Per ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the Raptors and Spurs have been discussing a trade for a while now. A source tells Turner Sports' David Aldridge a long-term stay in Toronto past the 2018-19 season for Leonard is going to be a very tough sell. Word of the trade circulated the NBA social media atmosphere. Early that morning, DeRozan took to Instagram and posted a story there that read, "Be told one thing and the outcome another. Ain't no loyalty in this game. Sell you out for a quick bit of nothing. Soon you'll understand. Don't disturb." Oof. And Aldridge reports via Twitter that DeRozan is not backing off his claim that Toronto lied to him. News of the reported deal broke early Wednesday the 18th as the Raptors and Spurs reportedly engaged in serious talks involving the Raptors acquiring the two-time Kia Defensive Player of the Year and former NBA Finals MVP Leonard. The details of the trade were still being worked out early Wednesday the 18th, but centered on Leonard and DeRozan. And then per Haynes from Twitter, Leonard reportedly has no desire to play in Toronto. And Yahoo Sports' Jordan Schultz reports via Twitter that the Raptors were hesitant to include young swingman OG Anunoby in any Leonard DeRozan swaps. DeRozan has spent his entire career with the Raptors, emerging as one of the top guards in the Eastern Conference since making his first of his 4 career All-Star berths in 2013-14. DeRozan has averaged 23.4 points, 4.5 rebounds, to 4.2 assists per game in that span. He was named to the All-NBA second team this season and was All-NBA third team in 2016-17. Last season, he averaged 23.4 points while improving a key facet of his game by hitting a career-high 89 three-pointers. He has 3 years and $83 million left on his contract, including an early termination option for the 2020-21 season. So there you have it. I mean, a lot to think about here, but Kawhi Leonard's future had been a subject of league-wide fascination ever since it was first reported. He wanted to leave the only team for which he has played. Despite attempts by the Spurs, including a try by Coach Popovich to mend the relationship, Leonard and his camp, they steadfastly maintained their distance as the offseason wore on. The strain between Leonard and San Antonio built throughout last season as the former 15th overall pick dealt with a quad injury. You remember that? It kept him out. It kept him from playing in all but 9 games. The unusual recovery time was compounded by his physical separation from the team as Leonard continued his rehab in New York. His absence was especially notable during the Spurs' first-round playoff exit to the Golden State Warriors. And then a few weeks later, he was spotted at a Dodgers home game. DeRozan, as we all know, Toronto's all-time leader in points scored, 13,296. Games played, 675. Field goals made, 47-16. And attempted 10,532, as well as free throws made, 3,359. And attempted 4,277. Also ranks third all-time in assists, 2,078. And second all-time in steals, 655. The Raptors went through a series of changes in the offseason after they were swept in the Eastern Conference second round by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Head coach Dwayne Casey, who was the NBA's Coach of the Year, was fired days after that playoff exit and was then eventually replaced by assistant coach Nick Nurse. And shortly after Casey's firing, Raptors GM Masai Ujiri said roster changes could be afoot for the team, but he was quick to point out the timetable for those changes were hardly known at that point. He said it was something they were looking at, not saying the roster was perfect. Things we need to do and I need to do to get better. Roster changes are not something we can change today. It takes 2 months sometimes, and sometimes a year, maybe 2. And then Los Angeles had long been reported as Leonard's preferred destination. Talks between the Spurs and Lakers reportedly took place on more than one occasion, but they never gained enough momentum for completion. I mean, this is one of those times where you could say it's a lose-lose deal. I mean, both teams are not happy where they are. I mean, you just heard Kawhi Leonard, I guess he has no desire to be in Toronto, and I know DeRozan's not happy about getting traded to San Antonio, especially after, MF spoke on this about a week or so ago on this show, and he said, you just heard the story. I mean, DeRozan not happy about being in San Antonio. I mean, the Raptors, I guess, reportedly had told him that he wasn't going anywhere, but then they stabbed him in the back and they traded him. And Kawhi Leonard doesn't really sound happy about being in Toronto, so I don't know. I mean, it's an ugly divorce, to say the very least. It's a shame it had to end this way, but it is what it is. So I know you guys aren't happy about where you are now, but in life we often have to go through things we don't want to go through. We don't want to do things that there are things that we don't want to do that we have to do, and whether you guys like where you are or not, suck it up, soldier up, and do your job. That's all there is to it. And if you don't like it, well, there's the door. Get out. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to pray for you guys that you guys have I pray for the best for your endeavors, but there's a better way either of you could have gone about it. I mean, you may not like where you are, but in the immortal words of Bautista, deal with it. That's all there is to say on that. So I'm just going to park it there. Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts. Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for DeMar DeRozan to the San Antonio Spurs. You heard the story. You heard everything I said. So what are your thoughts on it?
Boy, I can tell you. I mean, talk about an ugly divorce for Kawhi Leonard and the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, it just looked like they were just a match there. I mean, especially what he meant to that San Antonio Spurs team, especially one of the reasons why they went on to win the NBA championship back in 2014, and Kawhi Leonard that year was named the Finals MVP, and you were thinking that the run for the Spurs was going to continue as long as Kawhi Leonard was there, but obviously, I mean, that whole saga with the injury that he had last season, we all know that story by now, and obviously the Spurs had enough, and they traded him, and now he's going to the Toronto Raptors, and yeah, I get the feeling that he's not going to be. I mean, I think Kawhi will play out this season in Toronto, and then I think after that, I think he's going to be playing someplace else, and then DeMar DeRozan going to the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, and he was not too happy about this at all. I mean, he was assured that he wasn't going anywhere by the ownership group. Well, he got stabbed in the back by him, and he basically made his feelings felt when about the Raptors trading him away, and I mean, just a crazy way. It's just a crazy way for both guys playing for different teams. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm gonna say on this whole thing. So let's just move right along, Florio.
All right, and we move on to our other story in the NBA. Carmelo Anthony. Yes, Carmelo Anthony expected to sign with the Houston Rockets, as reported by Derek here. So just want to get the official source. He plans to sign with the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets have long been the rumored destination for Carmelo Anthony this summer, and it appears that move may be officially consummated before too long. According to Mark Stein of the New York Times, Anthony will join the Rockets once he officially becomes a free agent. However, it may take a while for Anthony to reach that status because the reported three-team trade between the Oklahoma City Thunder, Atlanta Hawks, and Philadelphia 76ers has yet to even take place. Anthony is expected to be released by the Hawks once the trade becomes official. So, and the deal sends guard Dennis Schroeder from the Hawks to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Carmelo Anthony and a lottery-protected 2022 first-round pick. In addition, forward center Mike Muscala was rerouted from Atlanta to Philadelphia through Oklahoma City, which will receive former first-rounder Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot from Philly. And the 76ers will send third-year wing Justin Anderson to Atlanta to complete the deal. And this is from the words of Mark Stein. Carmelo Anthony is planning to sign with the Houston Rockets upon clearing waivers in coming days, according to two people with knowledge of his plans. Anthony is unlikely to become a free agent before next week at the earliest, because his pending trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder to the Atlanta Hawks could take several days before it is officially completed, according to the people who insisted on anonymity because they are not authorized to discuss the trade publicly. But the three-way deal that also features the Philadelphia 76ers has been agreed to and is lined up to be executed after Philadelphia makes another roster move. The sharpshooter Kyle Korver of the Cleveland Cavaliers is among the players Philadelphia is known to be pursuing via trade before completing the three-way deal with Oklahoma City and Atlanta. The Hawks have pledged to release Anthony once the trade is complete, according to the people, which will allow him to earn next season's scheduled $27.9 million salary, as stipulated by the original 5-year contract he signed with the Knicks in the summer of 2014, and then signed with Houston upon clearing waivers. He is expected to receive a 1-year deal from the Rockets at the league's veteran minimum salary of $2.4 million. Rockets star James Harden and Daryl Morey, the GM, recently expressed confidence that the team would add Anthony sometime this summer. Speaking at separate functions, Kia NBA MVP award winner James Harden and Rockets GM Daryl Morey both said they believe Anthony would be a good addition to a team that was one win away from reaching the finals. According to For the Win, a Q&A session with fans on Instagram for his team's esports organization, Clutch Gaming, Morey was asked, "So we for sure getting Carmelo Anthony?" Morey responds, "In the mix." When asked, does Daryl still have something up his sleeve, Morey shot back a yes. And according to the Houston Chronicle, Harden said in an event, Houston believes getting Anthony would benefit a team. "It would be a great acquisition for us," said Harden, who did run into Anthony at Paris Fashion Week last month when Harden was making the rounds with teammate PJ Tucker. "Melo's a proven vet. He just wants to win at this point, so it would be great for him to be on our team. The current roster we have now, we got good guys back, and we keep making forward progress." Harden also responded to changes on the team as it lost key defensive players in Trevor Ariza and Luke Mbouamute. Free agency, Rockets signed former Kia Rookie of the Year Michael Carter-Williams and forward James Ennis. And he says that's a part of the business. But like we do every single year, we got to find a way. Whatever guys we sign, be ready to come in and play good minutes, and we'll take it from there. I have all the confidence in the front office and the coaching staff and the players that we'll have on the roster. So there you have it. So there's the story. So Michael Bullock, let's start it off with you here. Provided that all goes well, Carmelo Anthony should sign with the Houston Rockets, and when he does, can you imagine that big three of him, Chris Paul, and James Harden? Whoa, Nelly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously things didn't go well with him in Oklahoma City, but whenever he gets released by the Hawks after he's traded there, but yeah, I mean, that's going to be one heck of a team. I mean, him with James Harden, and the rest of that crew, and I mean, ironically, Florio, I mean, I found something on CBS Sports that might surprise you about Carmelo Anthony joining the Houston Rockets. Actually, I found I can't remember the numbers, but actually, they have the the Rockets' chances of winning a championship with Carmelo Anthony decreased. I mean, it actually decreased. I mean, it was some. I mean, some say that they think they have a better chance of winning an NBA title without Carmelo Anthony.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised when I heard that, but
I,
but to me, I totally disagree with that. I mean, because I mean, look at what you have with Golden State. I mean, they have one heck of a team, especially now with DeMarcus Cousins. So the Rockets need somebody to basically to compete with them, and I think Carmelo Anthony could provide that piece that they're really looking for. Because I mean, this past season they took the Golden State Warriors the full 7 games, and yeah, I mean if yeah, and I think who knows what could have happened if they. I mean, I just think now that I think that getting Carmelo Anthony could really give them a hard time. So could really give Golden State some fits. So yeah, so I disagree with those numbers there when I saw it. So I really got nothing more to say. So I really like this, and I think they'll really challenge Golden State for that NBA championship. Well, not just for the championship, but for that Western Division. So I really got nothing more to say. So Florio, come on in.
yeah, I mean, Carmelo Anthony has been the headliner his entire career. I mean, he's 19th in NBA history with 25,417 points. But he was more of a he's always been more of a catch and shoot. He was more of a catch and shoot scorer last year instead of the isolation specialist he had always been. He averaged 16.2 points a game, but he struggled at times in his new role. His playing time dwindled in the playoffs, and he was not happy. In Game 6 of the first round series against the Utah Jazz that ended their season, he played fewer minutes than backup Jeremy Grant. And after the season, he said he prefers to play with the ball in his hands more and said coming off the bench is out of the question. And he said it was something that he really had to think about. If I really want to be this type of player, finish out my career as this type of player, knowing that I have so much left in the tank and I bring so much to the game of basketball. So, as for that little number you just gave there, Bullock, I too disagree with that. I mean, I know he's not as good as he used to be, honestly, but you put him with Harden and with James Harden and Chris Paul. I mean, that's a dangerous big three right there in Houston. I mean, that big three could easily compete with the Golden State Warriors, even though the Golden State Warriors are still the odds-on favorites, and rightfully so, because they've won the last 2 and 3 of the last 4. They're the next big dynasty in the NBA right now, and probably will be for years to come unless something happens. But
All right, I think I found it for you.
okay,
This is via Sportsline, and it says the Rockets' championship chances. Well, I don't know how to say this, but it's like 4.8% without Melo, and with Melo, 3.9%.
okay.
So it actually decreases with Melo. Which, like I said, and you just said, I totally disagree with that.
Yeah, but if I'm gonna explain the reasoning behind this, I mean, obviously Golden State, obviously, and of course now that LeBron is going to be with the Lakers, that adds instant credibility to them, and they're right now. I mean, Golden State and Houston are the top 2 teams in the West. We all know that. Coming off of that very good Western Conference Finals series. I mean, that was one of the few bright spots of this NBA playoff year. Definitely a down year when it comes to postseason, but definitely one of the few highlights was that Western Conference series. Likewise, the other series in the East with Cleveland and Boston. That was another very entertaining series. Too bad the finals were absolute garbage, but it is what it is. But with Carmelo going to Houston, I mean, him, Harden, and Paul can definitely give the super team known as the Golden State Warriors some major fits, especially if they meet in the playoffs again. we get them in the Western Conference Finals again next year, which could happen. You never know. But of course, LeBron and the Lakers, they're going to have something to say about that, obviously. And, it's going to make for a very interesting season. And, we'll have to wait and see when more details come out. But in the weeks to come, in the days, weeks, and months to come. But, we'll wait and see what happens. So that's really all I can say there. So we'll wish Melo the best, and we'll see what happens come this fall. So, all right. Now we move on to the big story in Major League Baseball. It went down during the All-Star break, and it became official last Thursday. The Los Angeles Dodgers, your reigning and defending National League champion Los Angeles Dodgers, they won the Manny Machado sweepstakes, acquiring the prized All-Star shortstop from the Baltimore Orioles last Wednesday. The Orioles received 5 prospects: outfielder Yusniel Diaz, right-hander Dean Kramer, third baseman Rylan Bannon, righty Zach Pop, and third baseman Breyvic Valera. Dan Duquette, your old friend Bullock from Boston, who's now the executive vice president of baseball operations for the Baltimore Orioles, in a statement said, obviously, it's a bittersweet day for our organization. We watched Manny grow up in our franchise the past 8 years. We all know what an exceptional talent he is, from the great plays that he made to his elite hitting. He's always going to be an important part of our club's history. Machado was expected. Well, he was introduced by the Dodgers last Friday before they opened their series with the Milwaukee Brewers. Dodgers GM Farhan Zaidi said, "We viewed Manny Machado as a big difference maker." And the Dodgers are in a close race in the NL West with the Arizona Diamondbacks, as we all know. And Zaidi also said, "Our first hope is we have a division-winning roster. Anytime you have a chance to add an impact player in a tight division race, that's something you have to look at closely." Machado's contract does expire at the end of the season. The last-place Orioles decided against negotiating an expensive multi-year extension because they have too many holes on the roster as the team moves into rebuilding mode. Dan Duquette also said, "We tried to maintain a competitive club this year, and that's why we resisted the offers we had in the offseason to trade Manny. But when it became obvious that it was time to look to the future, trading Manny is the first step in the plan to rebuild our ball club." Asked if the Dodgers would re-sign Machado, Zaidi demurred. "Let's have him at least show up in a Dodger uniform before we start asking those questions," he said. "We hope he plays well and creates a good market for himself. We're not worried about what happens past 2018. The deal did hit a snag early last Wednesday, according to multiple reports, with the Orioles having some issues regarding the physical of one of the prospects LA had agreed to send. According to FanCred, the issue was not related to Diaz, the centerpiece of the deal. Machado is off to the best start of his career offensively, tallying several career-high figures for the season's first half, including 24 homers, 65 RBI, an on-base percentage of .387, and an OPS of .962. In his first year as a full-time shortstop in the majors, Machado was voted as the starter for the American League in this year's All-Star game, a Platinum Glove Award winner and 3-time All-Star at third base. Machado moved back to his original position this season. Zaidi said Dodgers manager Dave Roberts has explained to Machado how much the team values flexibility and versatility in playing different positions. Zaidi said, "Manny being flexible with that and being able to move between shortstop and third, we believe he can be an asset at both of these positions. When Justin Turner is down, Manny's ability and willingness to play third base on those occasions will be really important going forward." Everybody is sort of on the same page about that. So that's the story. Machado limited to 82 games in 2014, but he's played in at least 156 games in each of the past 3 years. He's hit at least 30 home runs and 30 doubles in each of those 3 seasons, making him one of just 3 players and the only one in the AL to reach both of those marks every season since 2015. The Orioles had discussed possible trade combinations for Machado with the Philadelphia Phillies, Milwaukee Brewers, New York Yankees, Atlanta Braves, Arizona Diamondbacks, and Cleveland Indians. They had extensive conversations with the Phillies, whose front office is loaded with former Orioles officials who were involved in the drafting and developing of Machado in 2010 for Baltimore, including President Andy MacPhail, General Manager Matt Klentak, and Assistant GM Ned Rice. So there's the story. Major difference maker. Without a doubt, this is a difference maker. I mean, The Dodgers, as you know, they started off very slow this year, but then they really kicked it into high gear, and they're now one of the best teams in the National League once again. They lead the NL West. We'll get into them in a little bit because I can tell you right now, I do believe I have them in my power rankings. Yes, I do. They are in my power rankings, and I'll share the details of that in just a little bit as soon as we get Bullock's thoughts on that, because that's the last thing we have on the docket after this. So, yeah, I mean, when you think about his offensive production, his defensive abilities, I think this could definitely put the Dodgers right back into contention in the National League. I mean, they are the defending champions. They nearly won it all last season, and I can honestly say the National League is wide open right now. I mean, any team in the National League could represent them in the World Series. I mean, the Dodgers, obviously, especially with Machado, I think they definitely have a case. Of course, you got the Cubs, who currently have the best record in the National League. We'll talk about them in a little bit. And, of course, another team in the National League that's come out of nowhere, the Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, those right now are the three teams I'm keeping an eye on in the National League right now. But right now, the Dodgers, especially after getting Machado, I think the Dodgers right now might be in the best position to represent the National League once again in the World Series. So yes, I mean, the writing was on the wall. I mean, right now, the Baltimore Orioles are the worst team in all of baseball. I mean, they're on pace to lose 100, and I believe I heard the other night, they're on pace to lose, I believe they said 117 games. I mean, that is hard times right there, if there ever were any. So, but anywho, Orioles go into rebuild mode. Dodgers become an instant contender. And when you get a guy, a caliber of a Manny Machado, I mean, right now, him going to the Dodgers is the biggest move for baseball right now. But in a few days, let's not forget, in a few days, we got a little something called the Major League Baseball trading deadline. And there's going to be a lot of big moves coming down the pipeline. And I'm sure next week here on Strictly Sports, we'll probably get into a few of those. So, but for right now, this is the big move right now. And I love it. It's great for the Dodgers, and it's going to put them right up there in contention for the National League. And right now, I say they could be my team to beat in the National League right now, even though the Cubs are playing very well, and of course the Phillies are playing well as well. So right now, those are the three teams I think you should watch for in the National League when it comes to who will represent the senior circuit in the World Series. So that's really all I can say on that. So Michael Bullock, come on in. I mean, as a Yankee fan, I'm glad he's no longer in Baltimore because he terrorized us, and I'm sure likewise Bullock, as a Red Sox fan, for you. I mean, I know you got to be glad that he's no longer going to be terrorizing Fenway Park like he did to Yankee Stadium as well. So, Bullock, are you with us?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I didn't see that.
Oh, I thought you were still talking. So.
Oh, okay. That's okay. But I'm all set now. So, your thoughts on Manny Machado going to the Dodgers? And I can honestly say for both of us, as Red Sox and Yankee fans respectively, we're probably saying, praise God, he's no longer going to torture us as an Oriole.
Yeah, he won't be terrorizing us anymore. And yeah, I mean, yeah, the writing was on the wall. I mean, you knew that he was eventually going to get traded because he had like 1 year left on his current deal, and the Orioles, I'm pretty sure, would rather get something back rather than just having him play out the rest of the season and then get nothing in return if he walks in free agency. And yeah, so yeah, of course, the Orioles, like you said, having a very bad season, and yeah, and with Machado, you put Machado in there with that lineup, this really puts the Dodgers in contention to possibly once again represent the National League in the World Series. So, yeah, and I think last night he hit his first home run as a Dodger, so he's really made an impact so far. So, yeah, so yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. I mean, the writing was basically on the wall, and now he's with the winning team, and hopefully, hopefully he'll help contribute with the Dodgers the rest of the way. There's really nothing more to say. So Florio, I think it's time for the power rankings.
Yes, indeed, it is time for the power rankings, and well, look, I know you're going to agree with me on all of it, like I know you always do. So,
Yeah, so I'll just sit this one out.
yeah, you're probably going to agree with me anyway. But all right, so all right, so we move on to the Major League Baseball power rankings, and I'll tell you what, I mean, you're not going to believe who's in the top three. That's all I can say about that. A very surprising top three when it comes to who we have in our rankings. You know, so yeah, so I do have to make a couple of indemnities here based on some results from tonight. So just bear with me. The top three, like I said, are no brainers. That's all I can say about that. Top three staying put. That's all I can say. So I just have to figure out where these teams need to go. So I do have a couple of duds. Arizona Diamondbacks. They've lost 2 in a row. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're on the outside looking in, and I'm sorry to say. And my New York Yankees, unfortunately, they just missed the mark. They were rained out tonight against the Kansas City Royals. So they've won 1 in a row. They're 5-5 in their last 10. You know, we've had, well, actually, no. That's actually going to change now because of a certain team's defeat tonight. So that's going to change instantly. So, but I started off at number 10, and yeah, number 10 is I think I have the right team at number 10, and another team that's another dud, believe it or not, is your reigning and defending World Series champion Houston Astros. They've lost 1 in a row. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Based on the way some teams have been playing, unfortunately, we don't have enough room for everybody. So we're going to have to make a couple of indemnities, like I said, because of some results from tonight. The standings were updated, and yeah, so that's pretty much all I can say there. So I'm just going to park it there with my honorable mentions. So, okay, so I think I'm just about here. So, yeah, I do apologize, folks. I mean, I thought I was in control here, but unfortunately, I am gonna have to make a couple of indemnities here and there. But I think maybe I'm just about there. So just about there. So okay, I think maybe we're here now. So bear with me here. All right, I think I got what I need. So bear with me for a moment. So yeah. All right. I think I got what I need. So okay, here we go. So I had to make a couple of indemnities based on some results from tonight. So thankfully I don't have MF here to rip my head off for that. So all right, I think I'm ready. So we're gonna start it off at number 10, and I have a tie at number 10, and this is the only tie we have at number 10. There will be no other ties going forward. Starting things off at number 10 with the two best teams right now in the National League, the Chicago Cubs and the Philadelphia Phillies. They both lost 1 in a row. They're both 5-5 in their last 10 games, but their records saved them, really. Chicago Cubs 60-43, best record in the National League. They currently lead the Milwaukee Brewers by 2 in the NL Central. They're second in batting average. They're fifth in runs scored, eighth in ERA, 20th in the WHIP. And let's see what they've done since our last rankings. A couple of weeks ago, we had the All-Star breaks. So, all right. So, unprecedented. They played 5 games in 4 days with the St. Louis Cardinals, and they won 3 of them, including a day-night doubleheader. So, they won 3 out of 5 from the St. Louis Cardinals at home. And then they split a 4-game series 2-2 with the Arizona Diamondbacks. But they did lose to the Cardinals tonight. They're an honorable mention. St. Louis, I need to see a little more from them if I'm going to put them in. So with that being said, 2 more games against the Cardinals in St. Louis this weekend. FS1 tomorrow afternoon, and then Sunday Night Baseball, Bullock, your favorite. They'll be on that Sunday night. So there you go. There's your Sunday Night Baseball game right there if you're interested. I'm sure you are. They're off on Monday, and then they'll be starting, and then they're going to have a brief 2-game series with the Pittsburgh Pirates in Pittsburgh, and then next weekend, a 4-game series with the dud San Diego Padres at home, and that's pretty much it until next week. So first number 10 is the Chicago Cubs. My other number 10 is a team I originally had. I had this team originally in the top 5, but with the loss tonight, I had to drop them out. Philadelphia Phillies, 58-45, lost 1 in a row. They're now 5-5 in their last 10 games. They lead MF's Braves by 2.5 in the NL East. They're 9th in ERA, 10th in WHIP, 15th in runs scored, 25th in batting average. They got to work on the batting average. Since our last power rankings, they won. They took 2 out of 3 from the San Diego Padres. They then won 2 out of 3 from the Los Angeles Dodgers at home. And so far, they're 1-1 against the Cincinnati Reds. And that definitely played a major factor in the rankings tonight. They have 2 more games against the Reds this weekend. And then on Monday, get ready, Bullock. It's only a 2-game interleague series, but it's a big one. When the Philadelphia Phillies go into Fenway Park against your Red Sox, Bullock. So get ready for that, the 2-gamer. And then they'll be off on Wednesday, and then Thursday they'll start a 4-game series with the Miami Marlins, and that's pretty much it after that. So with all that, number 10s, the Chicago Cubs, and the Philadelphia Phillies. Number 9, originally I had this team as an honorable mention, but because of the fact, because of some of the standings and some of the scores from the night, they get a reprieve. My New York Yankees, they now come in at number 9, 65-36. They are 5 games behind Bullets Red Sox in the AL East. They're 2nd in ERA, 2nd in WHIP, 4th in runs scored. They're 10th in batting average. Since our last power rankings, they went 1-1 against the Mets, and it was supposed to be a 3-game series. The 3rd game got rained out. It was supposed to be on Sunday Night Baseball last Sunday night, but they got rained out. But they did split the other 2 games against the Mets in that Subway Series. Down week for the Yanks. They did lose 2 out of 3 to the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa Bay. They had no trouble with the Kansas City Royals on Thursday night, last night. An easy win over them, but they got rained out again tonight. So they will have a day-night doubleheader. It looks like they're going to have a day-night doubleheader tomorrow. And then they'll play on Sunday, and then they'll be off on Monday. And then they're going to have a brief 2-game series with the Baltimore Orioles at home. And like we said, this time there will be no Manny Machado, so we don't have to worry about that. And then next week, starting Thursday, get ready, Bullock. Get ready. Yanks, Sox. The rivalry renewed. Fenway Park, a huge 4-game series. AL East and power ranking implications. You better believe there will be.
I think this could decide who wins this division.
Very well could. I mean, your Sox are in prime position right now.
Because right now they're like 5 games.
It is 5.
Right now they are 5 games ahead. So depending on how the rest of the weekend goes, and then the 2 games the Sox have with the Phillies, and how the Yankees do, who knows what the position the Sox will be come next Thursday.
Indeed. And
because I'll tell you what, if it's still 5 games and somehow even though it's a long shot, they sweep the Yankees, I'll just call it and say it's the Sox division to lose.
If the Sox sweep the Yanks 4 in a row, I'll agree with you on that, definitely. But if the Yanks take like 3 out of 4, or if the Yanks sweep, we got a race. That's all I can say on that. So,
yeah, I think the best case scenario I think for the Yankees is to win 3 out of 4. I think the worst case scenario is to at least get out of there with a split.
Yeah, as a Yankee fan, I would love to see 3 out of 4. But then again, I would really love to see a sweep. But let's be realistic. I don't see a sweep happening. No way, especially not in Fenway.
And especially after what happened with Aaron Judge.
Yes, Aaron Judge. Yes, I'm glad you reminded me. He was hit by a pitch on the wrist last night in that win against the Royals. He's out for 3 weeks. That's a big loss. I mean, he is our biggest bat, but we don't have to worry. I mean, we still got Giancarlo Stanton. We still got Gary Sanchez. Of course, he was under fire earlier in the week because of not hustling against Tampa Bay, but it was proven that he had re-aggravated his hamstring injury. I was going to go off on him, but because it was an injury, he re-aggravated the hammy injury. I guess I'll let that slide. I mean, that's what injuries can do to you. But still got Didi Gregorius. We still got Giancarlo Stanton. We still got Greg Bird. I mean, we still got some great bats in the lineup. So hopefully they can make the most of it without the Judge. That's going to be very tough. And to not have him for that 4-game series against the Sox next week, I mean, that's killer right there. That's a killer. But hey, we got the 2 worst teams in baseball with us. I mean, a day-night doubleheader with the Royals tomorrow, and then we got them again Sunday. So 3 more games against the Royals, and then we get 2 easy games against the realistically now dud Orioles. Now that Manny Machado's taking his ball and going to LA. So, but that Sox series, that's going to be the difference maker. Saturday afternoon baseball game of the week on Fox Sports 1 on August 4th, and then Sunday, August 5th. Of course, it's Sunday night baseball. What did you think? Did you really think it was going to be anything less? No. So, but we'll see how the Yanks can function without the Judge. I mean, that's a big loss. That's a huge loss, but we'll see how it goes. I'm praying for the best. So that's all I can say there. So number 9, it is the New York Yankees. Number 8, Tampa Bay Rays. 5-5 in their last 10, but they won 2 in a row, 53-50. They're eons behind the Sox and the Yanks, when it comes to division and wild card respectively. But they've been playing some good ball as of late. They're 4th in WHIP, 7th in ERA, 10th in batting average, 21st in runs scored. Since our last power rankings, they did lose 2 out of 3 to the Miami Marlins in that 3-game interleague series. But they rebounded very nicely, winning 2 out of 3 from the New York Yankees at Tropicana Field. So far, 1-1 against the Baltimore Orioles. They lost to them 15-5 tonight. 15-5? You lose to the Orioles 15-5 with no Manny Machado? That's crazy. That's crazy. But they have 2 more games against the Orioles this weekend. They're off on Monday. And then a 3-game series starting Tuesday with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And then next weekend, they got the Chicago White Sox coming in. So yeah. Rays playing some good ball. The 2 out of 3 from the Yanks, that definitely played into the rankings without a doubt. If they didn't get creamed by the Orioles tonight, maybe they would have gone a little bit higher. But no. Number 8 is the best place for them, I think. So we'll leave them there. Number 8. Number 7. This team back in the power rankings for the first time in quite a while. It's been over a month since they've been in the rankings, but they're back. Washington Nationals. They're 5-5 in their last 10, but they've won 3 in a row. 52-51. They're over 500 for the first time in a while. 52-51. They are 6 games behind Philly and in the NL East, and I think they're like 3.5 behind Atlanta. So when it comes to wild card positioning. 8th in WHIP, 11th in ERA, and they're 18th in batting average and runs scored. Since our last rankings, last weekend there was supposed to be a 3-game series with Fletcher's Braves. One of the games got rained out. They were rained out last Saturday. The other 2 games, they split 1-1. They did lose 2 out of 3 to the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee, but they've rebounded very nicely. So far, going 2 for 2 against the dud Miami Marlins in a 4-game series. They've won the first 2 games, outscoring them by a combined 19-4. That'll definitely help. They had 2 more against the Marlins this weekend in Miami, off on Monday, and then a brief 2-game series with the New York Mets at home. And then starting Thursday, a 4-game series with another dud team, the Cincinnati Reds. So we'll see how that goes. But 3 in a row, 5-5 in the last 10. They're making a little bit of some noise. They still got some work to do, but we'll see what happens. So we'll leave it there. Number 7, the Washington Nationals. Number 6, sorry, Bullock, not this time. I'm afraid it's your Boston Red Sox at number 6. You remember our last rankings 2 weeks ago, we had them as the clear-cut number 1. Not this time. They've taken a little bit of a step back. They won tonight. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. Best record in baseball, 72-33. And according to another one of the, according to that same show, they said that the Orioles were on pace for 117 losses. Bullock, I know you're going to love this. They said your Red Sox are on pace to win 113 games this year. I mean, unbelievable if that's the case. So they lead the league in batting average and runs scored. They're 4th in ERA. They're 7th in the WHIP. Since our last power rankings, they took 3 out of actually, no, I stand corrected. They took 2 out of 3 from the Detroit Tigers up in Detroit. They split it. They were supposed to have a 3-game series with the Baltimore Orioles. They went 1-1 in the first 2 games, but then the 3rd game got rained out. And so far, they're 1-1 against the Minnesota Twins in a 4-game series. They lost last night, but they won tonight, so that got them back into the. They just missed the top 5 though. 2 more games against the Twins at Fenway this weekend, and then of course that big 2-game interleague series with the Philadelphia Phillies starting on Monday, going on Monday and Tuesday. They're off on Wednesday, and then of course, as Bullock and I just mentioned, starting this Thursday, that huge 4-game series with the New York Yankees at Fenway Park, including those 2 national broadcasts on Fox Sports 1 Saturday afternoon, August 4th at 4:05, and then of course Sunday, August 5th, Sunday Night Baseball. Bullock's going to be all over that. You better believe it. So that 4-game series, like we just said, make or break series, and how's this series going to play out without Aaron Judge? I mean, that injury is very costly for the Yanks, but that could be very beneficial for the Sox. So but we'll find out. The deficit is 5 for now, but maybe it could be 1, or it could even be 9 if the Sox sweep. But if the Yanks sweep, it's a 1-game lead, and we got ourselves a whole new ball game. So we'll find out what happens come next week. We'll definitely get into it next week when we do these rankings again. So we'll, as we always say, we'll just park it there. So now to the top 5. Number 5, we'll start it off with the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland Indians, 6-4 in their last 10 games. They've won 2 in a row, 56-46. Largest division lead of anybody in baseball right now. 8 games over the Minnesota Twins. They're 2nd in runs scored. They're 5th in batting average and WHIP. And they're 17th in ERA. They got to work on the pitching, but the offense is there. So since our last power rankings, they took 2 out of 3 from the Texas Rangers up in Texas. Only downside is they did lose 2 out of 3 to the Pittsburgh Pirates in an interleague series. They got outscored 16-4 in those 2 losses, but they salvaged the 3rd game, and so far they opened up a 3-game series with the Detroit Tigers in Detroit. Easy win for them tonight, an 8-3 win tonight in Detroit. They have 2 more games against the Tigers this weekend in Detroit, and then starting Monday, a 3-game series with the Minnesota Twins up in Minnesota. Off on Thursday, and then Then next weekend, they'll be hosting the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, including a Fox Sports 1 game. Fox Sports 1's going to have a doubleheader next Saturday. Yanks and Sox in the 4 o'clock game, and then after 7 o'clock in the primetime game, Angels and Indians in Cleveland. So that should be a good one. So that's a 3-gamer. So things looking good for Terry Francona's team right now. I think it's their division to lose in the Central because no other team in the Central is nowhere as good as they are. So I'll be shocked if they don't win that division. So Cleveland Indians coming in at number 5. Let's move on to number 4. And this is where I have your reigning and defending National League champion Los Angeles Dodgers. They've won 2 in a row. They're 6-4 in their last 10, 58-46. A 2-game lead over both the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies in the NL West. 2nd in ERA, 3rd in WHIP, 7th in runs scored, 14th in batting average. And since our last rankings, the Dodgers won 2 out of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee, outscoring them 17-6 in those 2 wins. The only downside is they did lose 2 out of 3 to the Philadelphia Phillies in Philadelphia. But so far, they're 2 for 2 against Fletcher's Braves in a 4-game series in Atlanta, outscoring them 12-3 in those 2 games. 2 more games against MF's Braves in Atlanta this weekend. And then starting on Monday, a big 4-game series with the Milwaukee Brewers in LA at Dodger Stadium. And then next week, get ready, a World Series rematch next week with the Houston Astros in Los Angeles. Whoa, what a big weekend next weekend. I mean, we got Yanks and Sox, and now we're going to have a World Series rematch on top of that. Whoa, how about that? So, Yanks and Sox and a World Series rematch next weekend. Yanks and Sox 4 games. This World Series rematch, Astros Dodgers 3 games in LA next week. So, oh boy, that's going to be hella fun, especially with Manny Machado in the mix. So, oh boy, double Shakespearean drama next weekend for sure. And both of those series will have power ranking implications. You better believe it. So we're just going to park that there. So number 4, Los Angeles Dodgers, especially with Manny Machado. Oh man, that's going to be something else. Top 3 now. We go to number 3. A very surprising top 3. Well, maybe not one, but these next 2 are definitely going to be surprises. Number 3, believe it or not, how about the Pittsburgh Pirates? Pittsburgh Pirates come in at number 3, 54-51. They won tonight. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They still got some work to do when it comes to the division. They're 7 games behind the Cubs. They're 5 behind Milwaukee in the wild card. 9th in batting average, 11th in runs scored, 18th in ERA and WHIP. So let's see what the Buccos have done since our last rankings. A 3-game sweep of the Cincinnati Reds in Cincinnati, outscoring them 27-5 in those 3 games. And then they took 2 out of 3 from the Cleveland Indians in Cleveland in that interleague series, 16-4. They outscored them. And so far, there were 1-1 in a 4-game series with the Mets. They lost Thursday 12-6, and then they won tonight 5-4. 2 more games against the Mets this weekend, off Monday. And then a 2-game series with the Chicago Cubs at home. That's a big series right there. NL Central and power ranking implications in that one. And then following that, another big 3-game series, this time with the St. Louis Cardinals. And all of this at home. So they're in the midst of a 9-game homestand. And this is a make or break for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, they're playing well right now, but we'll have to wait and see. So with that being said, Pittsburgh Pirates come in at number 3. And now we move on to number 2. I mean, you thought Pittsburgh was surprising at number 3. Wait till you hear who I have at number 2. It's the Colorado Rockies. Yes, Colorado Rockies coming in at number 2, 55-47, 2 games behind the Dodgers in the West. They've won 2 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. 7th in batting average, 8th in runs scored. The pitching needs work, though. They're 22nd in WHIP, and they're 24th in ERA. And Let's see what they've done since our last rankings. They won 2 out of 3 from the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona. They split a 2-game interleague series with the World Series champion Houston Astros, 1-1. And tonight, they knocked off the Oakland A's 3-1. 2 more games against the A's this weekend, and then they start a 4-game series with the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis, and then next week they'll be going up to Milwaukee for a series with the Brewers. That's a big one right there, a 3-gamer. So yeah, Colorado playing some very good ball right now. So actually, I should have made some. I actually should have made some amendments here, because that Oakland loss. I mean, I think I should have Colorado at number 1, and I think I should drop Oakland down to 3. So that's what I'm gonna do. They lost, so we're gonna address the Oakland A's right now. I originally had the Oakland A's at number 1, but the loss tonight. 61-44. They had previously won 6 in a row, but they're still 8-2, maybe 7-3 in their last 10. But took one on the chin tonight. They're 6th in runs scored, 10th in WHIP, 13th in batting average, 16th in ERA. They took 2 out of 3 from the San Francisco Giants in that interleague series. Of course, they honored the World Series team of 1989. During that series, which was an awesome moment, they set attendance records at the Coliseum, a 4-game sweep of the Texas Rangers, but then they lost to Colorado tonight. So 2 more games against the Rockies this weekend in this interleague series, a very important interleague series now that I think about it. 3 more, and then they will start a 3-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays on Monday at home, off on Thursday, and then a 3-game series with the Detroit Tigers. So I have to make some amends here. The Oakland A's, they're now number 3. The Pittsburgh Pirates are staying put at 2. And number 1 is the Colorado Rockies because of this win tonight. So that's it for that. So in case you missed it, final power rankings as it stands: Chicago Cubs, Philadelphia Phillies, co-number 10s, New York Yankees, number 9, Tampa Bay Rays, number 8, Washington Nationals, number 7, Boston Red Sox, number 6, Cleveland Indians, number 5, Los Angeles Dodgers, number 4, Oakland Athletics, number 3, Pittsburgh Pirates, number 2, and Colorado Rockies, number 1. So I believe that should be 3 in a row, and either 8-2 or 9-1, and that's going to put it over. So there you have it. Colorado Rockies close it out at number 1. So that is it. This edition of Strictly Sports in the books for this week. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Michael Bullock, come back in. We're going to do our shout outs real quick, and then you start it, and then I'll take it, because we got some very exciting feature content coming up.
Yes, of course, special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans out there who continue to support our shows. Of course, we thank you all so very much for tuning in tonight, and of course, shout outs to all of our super fans out there. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. To Michael Fletcher, who couldn't be with us tonight for, like you said, because of work commitments beyond his control. Of course, to the Grand Poobah, Derek Ferreira. Of course, all of our local personalities from 610 and 12. Of course, our personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports, MLB Network, NHL Network, NFL Network, NBA TV, and all the other networks out there. Of course, our friends from The Road Show, of course, the former co-hosts Mary Larson and Megan Mooney, and of course, the 3 current hosts out there, Will, Brendan, and Michaela. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. So until Monday night for another all-new edition of Ridiculously Raw, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up 424 style. Bye for now, and enjoy your weekend, everyone. So, Wario, take us home.
Yeah, we'll do, Bullock. Special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. we have two very special birthday shout outs that we need to address. First up, a gentleman that MF and I went to school with. I'm sure Bullock did too, but we weren't in the same class. But one of our old classmates from our junior high days, Kevin Creighton. We want to wish him a very happy birthday. It was his birthday on Friday. And our other birthday shout out, a very special birthday shout out to a gentleman who's one of our insiders here on Strictly Sports and the Wrestling Forum. And just like me, a super fan of the Buffalo Bills, the one and only Jason Hixenbaugh. We want to wish Jason Hixenbaugh a very happy birthday as well. Awesome guy, and I wish him all the best, and I hope he had a blessed day. It's just like Kevin. So Kevin Creighton, Jason Hixenbaugh, happy birthday from all of us here at Strictly Sports. So wanted to address those. Of course, our other special shout outs, Didi Woodson. Of course, big week for Didi Woodson. If you don't know, she will be hosting our WWE Evolution preview and recap shows in October. That's going to be awesome. So, big news on that. Of course, we want to wish Didi Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family all the best. Of course, Jason Hixenbaugh as well, the aforementioned Jason Hixenbaugh, along with our other insiders, Matt Ward and Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Of course, our other first ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. Crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bravesen, and Rob Parsons. Of course, good old MF, Michael Fletcher, who couldn't be with us tonight because of work commitments beyond his control. And of course, the man who puts it all together each and every week, the one and only Derek Ferreira. Of course, all of our personalities over at 610 and 12, along with our friends over at ESPN, FS1, MLB Network, NHL Network, NFL Network, NBA TV. Stata Sorrell, Lindsay McCormick, Chantel McKay from the Golf Channel, along with our friends from the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson, the former co-hosts Megan Mooney and Mary Larson. And last but not least, my wonderful friends and church family over at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning at 9, Bible study, a little after 10, Sunday service. Wednesdays at 7, Bible study, other things going on. Looking forward to being there on Sunday as always with all of them. Going to be another wonderful service as always. And that's it for the shout outs. And of course, we'll next see you Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. We got a big Raw coming up this Monday night at the American Airlines Arena in Miami, Florida, on the USA Network. Finn Balor versus Constable Baron Corbin in a return match from Extreme Rules. We also have Seth Rollins going up against Drew McIntyre. And of course, the rowdy one herself, Ronda Rousey, will return from her suspension. And then from there, for the first time in forever and a day, the Universal Champion himself, Brock Lesnar, will be there along with Paul Heyman. That's going to be hella fun to see. So definitely looks like an exciting Raw coming up on Monday night. We'll review all of that. And of course, I'll also have my Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling. Then Tuesday night, with over on Brace Fan 95, join MF and us for the Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll review SmackDown Live. MF will have his latest Lucha Underground review and his Mikey's Mindset, maybe some other things. And then next Friday night, of course, Strictly Sports, right back here on the Tone 25. Major League Baseball Power Rankings. I wouldn't be surprised if Derek has us talk about the trade deadlines. I know that's coming up. We'll get into all the big trades and all that, and whatever else Derek decides to have us talk about. So there you go. So that's it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Floyo here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Didi Woodson, and Derek Ferreira. Neil the Routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Floyo, so long, and bye, everybody. Bye.